And oh wow, we are live. We're back. Okay.
Hey,
Welcome to the show, and welcome Gaurav back after 3 weeks
thank
of
you.
ex-nay.
Yeah,
Sorry for taking such a long break, but myself, I was out on a trip in Europe, and then Gaurav was doing a little retrieve in India. How did that go, by
yeah.
the way?
Not that good, but yeah, it was good.
It
Like I
was
learned a
good,
lot of
but not that good.
yeah, not that good. It was a great life skill to learn. So it was awesome. Yeah. How was your trip?
Yeah. My trip was cool, very cool. Fast. It went
Mm,
so fast. We were in and out of every city. We went to France, Italy, Austria,
mm,
Germany, and then
mm.
yeah, just little towns. Lots of history. I mean, I'm blown away every time how much history there is in Europe.
Awesome,
It's
awesome.
incredible.
Okay.
But let's get to it.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to thank everyone for joining us, and this show is going to be very cool because both me and Gaurav are so passionate about becoming your own banker because it's all about financial freedom, getting out of the
Yep.
system, but staying in the system, just like the Matrix. Plug yourself in, but know the ways to go and run around it. So, as usual, or you might have forgotten, it's been 3 weeks. I want to start the show with a quote, and this quote comes from Nelson Nash, which is, as some people might know, he's the actual creator or or the one that brought up the concept of becoming your own banker. And the quote says, "Those who have the gold make the rules." I always loved this because it reminds us about that money isn't just about the cash, it's about the control that you can have. So whoever holds the capital decides the direction, and that's what today's episode is all about. We want to empower people to take back their control, making their own rules, and learning how to become your own banker.
Yep.
So everyone, welcome back. This is Farmers in Finance. I'm Ricardo, joined as always by my co-host here, my friend over all the way in India is Gaurav. Thank you, Gaurav, for
Namaste.
coming down.
We do the Indian style. Namaste.
Namaste. Namaste.
Thanks
And
for
then
having me.
first, a big thank you for everyone that is tuning back. Yes, as I said before, there's been 3 weeks, and it was a good break to take as well.
Mm,
Vacations are always nice to take some
yeah.
time off. This show is for financial freedom. I share my experiences. Gaurav shares his experiences, and we just want to empower people to take back their control and their finances. Um, so today we're going to talk about, like I said, Nelson Nash infinite banking concept, and it is about the infinite banking system, and then we'll dive deep into it. We're gonna structure the show a little bit different. Hopefully, some people are tuned in, and let us know in the comments that if you have any questions, we'll leave them towards the end so that we can answer them, and then we're gonna split it up into two because this is quite the concept to dive
Yeah.
into. So we're gonna go into start storytelling first, and then we're gonna dive into the numbers and how it actually works financially. And so if you have any comments or questions about it, leave them to the end. But let us know and become interactive, and then we can go on and show you the powerful tool that we have discovered over these fantastic years. Um,
Hmm.
I'll share how I discovered it. Then Gaurav will share how he discovered it, how we apply it in real finances, and then how it can be used also in, applying it to financing is how we can use it to buy things instead of going to the bank. We go to our own bank, and what's important for farmers is how to finance your equipment, your stock, your seeds, and your operations. If you're strict with that, obviously, because when you pay cash, all the systems, they give you a discount, right? Like they give you rate discounts. So if you had your own bank, you're recuperating all that. But let's not spoil this show because I'm gonna go right into it. Okay, so let's get started. So, Gaurav, what do you think is the meaning of the infinite banking?
So here to clarify, there are two things involved in this one. One is your whole life policy, which is a product actually, and infinite banking is a process created out of that product. And the use case of this product is to have power of money working for yourself. Like like you said, who owns the capital owns the rules or make the rules. So whole life policy is a product in which you hold the power by holding the money, and you decide when to borrow and when to basically not doing it. So instead, like that instead of moving and finding new products, is like basically master the products which you already have and use them for different use cases. So basically, it is a kind of like, it is a specially designed whole life insurance policy to act as your personalized bank. That's infinite banking. The cash value inside grows steadily, and you have the rights to borrow and repay on your terms, not the bank's. And that's the real power. People are stuck in so many things because the contracts are owned by banks, and they basically say that, okay, we'll give you this, and but we will take this. But when you have a whole life policy, you make the rules, you own the rules, you own the bank for yourself. This is what is infinite banking. Just to give you an example, it's like you're storing your best of your harvest and not selling it all at once. You're having it for yourself. With every premium, you are in reinvesting, in your own power. Every time you pay for a whole life policy, you're investing in your own power. It's like holding your best of the best harvest for the worst time. That's basically the infinite banking.
Love it. Love it. I mean, you just described it in a few words that we're going to focus on them. But to me, when I explain it to clients, yes, we do use the insurance product, and that you can see it as the asset. So you're growing the asset by financing it, and the insurance company also grows it for you by paying dividends because it's a whole participating life policy. And over the years, obviously, this is not a short-term quick fix or anything. It's actually a business in itself. And over the years, this asset grows and it becomes a loan, a lender. You can borrow against this asset, and you're still leaving a death benefit to your future generations, to your kids, exactly. Whoever you design the beneficiaries. As the asset grows, the more you can take out of it. But the beauty concept about this is that asset is still growing. You're not touching the cash value out of it. And by growing, I mean that will grow to the life policy. So we, as financial specialists, we designed this product to grow at the rate that feels comfortable in your life. And then, like Gaurav was mentioning, when it comes to farms, it's like grow it when your harvest is coming in and the money is flowing. You have cash flow coming in, just like you would in a bank. If you have cash flow coming in, you would invest it and you would save it, and exactly. Then that grows your policy. And then once you grow your policy, then over the winter time, when you have more time to think about how to invest it and to expand, to scale your business, as in farming, like what seeds do we plant, what stock do we get, do we get new breeding stock, and all that stuff, then you can use that by leveraging bank loans, but your own bank loans, like they're called policy loans. And the strategics about the whole thing is to grow the cash value, just like what Gaurav was talking about. And it's all about growing the cash value at a rate that feels comfortable, right? And this is, I want to emphasize, I know Gaurav knows, but this is like starting a business. Farming is one business, but becoming your own bank, it's actually, you are the bank. And becoming the bank, like the movies, they say, a lot of movies like about superheroes, with great power comes great responsibilities, right? And then the main responsibilities about this is about being disciplined to pay your bank back, just like if you were paying the bank back, right?
Exactly. And the main thing, when I say that it's the system, this discipline is not applicable just for this generation. If you use this wisely, you can use this as an asset for coming generations, like many generations. And that's one method which is a part of infinite banking, is called waterfall method, in which generation to generations, if you're disciplined, you make the rules and everyone in your generations follow it. One thing which is started like a business, like any old business, whole life policies can be turned in a way to create wealth of unimaginable power. When I say wealth with unimaginable power, it means that as a whole, your whole generations will become their own banks, multiple old banks, which transacts between them. So yes, it is very much powerful. It's just like, it's unknown because rich people the best secrets for themselves.
Well, they're not going to teach it to you in government-sponsored
No,
schools.
never. So the funny thing is, when we saw the P&Ls of such big banks like BMO and everyone, there are millions of dollars in whole life policies, but they themselves never pitch it to their rich clients. Never ever.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, they don't show you their tricks. And I mean, we have a presentation, right? The financial house, and how to how pay later the taxes, right? And then we go left to right, and on the right hand side is our whole life policies that make everyone that I present that presentations to becomes curious, because we say, hey, a lot of people work left to right. They go into their RSPs and they go on all in these programs that the government says, oh yeah, this is the way to go. But then all of a sudden, it's like the rich people, they go right to left. So they first start, any wealthy person first starts with these policies. Like he said, like Gaurav said, about they don't tell you, but they have a policy on each kid. You can put a policy as soon as a newborn is 15 days old. And that's what they do, because it creates generational wealth. And then they don't have to answer to anybody because they have their own banking system. So anyone, so far, I want to emphasize this part because Nelson Nash makes it a big deal. Anyone that uses finances tools has used a bank. So the bank make money on their assets is actually their loans.
The loans, exactly.
The loans are their assets, and their liabilities are their deposits. And for us, it's the way around, right?
Yeah.
So it's
For
like
us, loans are basically our liabilities, and our savings are our assets,
our
which
assets.
is the whole point, like why they are playing with your mind.
That's right. That's right.
That's
and it is.
Yeah.
Like we talked about it before too. Freedom is a mindset, right? And because we've been conditioned, and so to speak, like programmed. I always refer back to the Matrix, because when you take a look at that movie, the programming goes deep, and the programs that are in place, they're not for making people thrive and using their creativity and all. No, they're just there to establish control, to establish,
Exactly.
like, yeah, to give no future, no possibilities, to limit the mindset. And every single book that I've read about mindset, it's all about breaking control. And then another quote, I don't know if you have read a few books, but most of the people that have made wealth starting from zero didn't go to school.
Yeah, or they didn't follow the book. Whatever they did out of the box or out of the book. And those who are with the book, they're still, you say, being controlled by the system. And like if we
Being
say,
controlled by the system, yeah.
yes, so let's see how basically banks make profit from our cash flow. Because if we
Yes.
understand that, we will be able to understand infinite banking. Because the concept lies in the problem, the solution lies in the problem, and the problem is banks making more profit than someone who actually gave money to them. So basically, if I see, like, from India till Canada, like from my city to Vancouver where I live, they're the same things. They use our deposits to generate their profits and then loan out our money, sometimes several times over, while the account holders just get fraction of the return.
Oh,
This is
you're
like
being generous.
5, yes, or like 4% for India. In infinite banking, it flips this model. It's the reverse. It's like you play Uno and you have like reverse. I don't, now it's your turn. Instead of being the raw material for someone else profits, the farmer, shopkeeper, or any entrepreneur becomes both banker and customer. It's like you are
Yes.
Gaurav, and then you make a bank by name of Gaurav's Bank. You treat them individually instead of treating your trading with the bank, giving them the minimum, taking the minimum on your savings, and then when you go out to take a, let's say, car loan or maybe education loan, they give you as much as 3 times,
Yeah.
and then you say, okay, very good, you're so generous, you gave me so much money. But if you follow this concept, you're your own banker, you replace the bank, you become both banker and the customer. You earn while using their capital. Basically, we earn now using our capital. We become raw material for our own business or our own bank. Simple like that. What do
Nice.
you think?
Yeah, I wanna give it a little bit of a picture, how to get started with the concept and enter into the mind. And then for us farmers, you can look at it like the premiums, which give the inside of the orange peel. It's like planting the seed. And then when you nurture them, when you water them, that's your contributions. So you set up a annual payment or a monthly payment, and then over time, this grows just like any other seed, any other plant, and then it becomes the benefit, which we are going to talk about. It's the cash value. That's what we talk about in the infinite banking concept.
Yeah.
So as we talk about finances, we know that the banks are the ones that are in control when it comes to freedom. Like Gaurav was saying, like you put your savings in and you go and open up. Well, obviously, nobody teaches you what to do with your money, like because you see all this marketing about the banks and everything like that. When you're a kid, when I was a kid and I was 15, I opened my first bank account. That's all I knew, right? I just went to the bank, and then when they ask you, do you want to open a checking or a savings? And I'm like, what is the difference? Well, the checking, you can write checks, and I'm like, okay, so that's a way to transfer the money to somebody else a lot faster in a lot bigger portions.
Yeah.
And what about the savings? Oh, why would I need that? Like I make
I know.
money, I want to spend it.
Yeah,
Like
that's it. That's the
why?
basic idea when you're young about making money. You make money, you have to spend everything. You have to live
Well,
your
yeah,
life.
I was like, oh no, I'm gonna buy my car. I'm gonna
Yeah.
buy this. Why would
And
I
then you
save
ask,
it?
I don't have the money, and then bank say, oh, take the loan from me. Don't worry. That's it.
Yeah,
That's all they give you. Yeah.
yeah. Anyways, but then it's like a lot of people, I think they're in the same boat, unless obviously you were in a rich family and they taught you how to manage your money and where to
Yeah, that's
go
why.
with, with it.
Yes.
And then obviously, if your dad and mom said, hey, no, just we're going to start you a whole life policy, and then you can start your own bank, and that will be your first business. Imagine that that's your first business, and you have to understand, budgeting, loans. You have to be able to communicate with the whole because it becomes a relationship with the whole insurance company, right? Because you have to
Yeah.
set up, it's contracts. You have to understand what contracts are. You have to read them through, right? And now, I mean, we have AI. The capabilities of AI is just like, you
Yep.
can write up contracts, you can review them. It teaches you. Now you have the possibility of being taught how everything works. So there's no excuses now not to understand the concept and to dive deeper, right, into all the things. But then
Mhm.
I wanted to add that Gaurav was a little bit nicer to the banks. Obviously, maybe he's worried that his bank account might get closed tomorrow. But when you deposit, a certain amount of money, they lend out, I believe, at 9 times over what their deposits are,
Oh,
because their
yeah.
concept is that nobody will come back and extract their savings all at once. So
Mhm.
they're able to have the deposit to secure all the loans that they've lent out. And they invest in multiple different
Everything.
areas, right?
Loans, markets, mutual funds. Then you go for like working capital loans. You name it, every kind of loan is a income for which we fund them.
Which
Because
we found
we fund them.
that,
Banks
and
don't have
that
their own.
is, I don't understand if people actually understand that. This is like, we are the pillar, right? It's like they need the deposits. Without the
Yes.
deposits, the bank would collapse.
Yeah.
And imagine how much marketing they have to do, and why they are in our minds for the first thing to do when you think about finances, the
Or money.
bank, yeah, or
First thing you
money.
say, money, let's go to bank. Let's go to bank because you see it. It's a big marketing tactic to have basically doing everything like by every corner you have a bank. Let it be any bank in India or Canada. In in any population, you will find a bank, and that's like how they play with your
Yes.
mind. We are the same because we are near you. That's it. Accessibility.
So I just want to emphasize this part. They take no risk with
Hmm.
their own money. They
Yeah.
use
Never.
yours.
They
And
use
that
ours.
this is like really important to understand, because this is what got me into action, into creating my own understanding of how money works. uh, I mean, obviously a lot of people uh, um, are of the idea that money was created so that we didn't have to trade our chickens for our goats, and so
Yes.
on and so forth. And
Yep.
it's a great tool, yes,
Yeah.
but with great tools comes great responsibilities, and
Yeah.
obviously it's being taken over. The control of it has been taken over. And
Yeah.
one of the parts that I see is like, we are in the situation that we are because the gold standard was removed. So our founding fathers
Hmm.
of the states, they had created the banking system knowing all this, right? Like,
Yeah.
and what happens to the money system, the cash flows, and everything. So by removing the gold standard, they have facilitated the system that is based on debt, and that's
Yeah.
And that's why now we're seeing a rise of becoming your own banker, because debt, instead of becoming a liability, now it's going to become an asset. But you have to learn it. And there's
How do you
things that have to happen in the mind of the individual to take place. And one of the things that Gaurav mentioned is the discipline. And then I'm reading a book. It has to be pig-headed discipline. You have to be, you have to impersonate that you are a bank and you're yourself, but you are standing on the other side. It's like, what would a banker do? You know, it would screen you, obviously. Can you take that debt load, right? Is it too much? Do you have the available funds? How are you going to repay me back? How much are you going to repay me back? You know, like they put it all in the contract, right? It's all right there, black and white. But it's like you have to fight with yourself. You have to fight with your ego, in a sense. But becoming that other side, you are actually empowering yourself. You're taking control, and you will understand how business and money flows, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Anything to add to that? Sorry, I took over there a little bit.
No worries. No worries. It was great input. So basically, it's the discipline is the most important thing, like you said. Okay. So basically, if you see in our work, when we sit with clients, the hardest part isn't understanding the numbers, is basically building the consistency for whole life policy.
Yes.
You have to be consistent while working on your infinite banking system. And with clients, like numbers, pretty much you can run them, but in the end, when you follow it, you have to be very strict on that one. So discipline is the most important thing. Like you said, pig-headed discipline. It is required that you don't see left or right. You just work on the plan. You have to pay yourself back every time, as if your family's legacy is dependent on it. That if I don't pay it back, my family will not thrive. If you become very strict like bank, analyzing your own finances through these numbers, like what loan to take, what not to take from your own bank, and when to pay back, totally depends like how serious you are to build your family's legacy. If you tie both, you will be pretty much strict on yourself. So this process is about trust and reliability, not for the bank, but for your future self and your family. If you do it, again, I'm saying you're creating generational wealth. That discipline will flow down from you to your family, from your family to your next generations to come. That's pretty simple.
And it's understanding to have the vision. Obviously it's not for everybody, because like the mindset that it takes, it's very strict. It's different. Dan Martell always, I put a quote the other day about this one kid who was 10 years old, and he's like standing there. What do I have to do to be successful? And then Dan Martell looks at him, is like, man, do you see any other 10 years old around you? I should be asking you that question. If you don't see anybody around you that is doing what you're doing, you will be successful, he said. Because it's like you, when it talks about business and everything like this, it was like in January, the gyms are full, right? Everybody's like taking action and everything. But go there in June. Those are the people that are alone, and they're so disciplined that they will continue all year long. How does this apply to farming, right? How does this apply to farmers? Well, one of the things that I've noticed is with farming, has the seasons, right? We go by the season, the weather. There's no way to get around it. Even in a greenhouse, you can amortize the level the weather takes effect on your crops. but it's still a seasonal business. So same thing, money will come in waves. Like when you're planting the seeds, you're inputting right into it, and then when it comes to harvest, that cash flow is multiplied and it comes into your pockets, right? So in the same way, this is how the banking system and the money flows. It's like energy, right? Everything is energy. So you got to take back from it when you have the time, when you can understand what to do with it, and you have to plan, like what we did in another podcast. We built up this podcast because we wanted to emphasize all the steps that are required to get to this point. And this is the critical point, because it's where it starts to make sense how to achieve the financial freedom that we're all entitled to. We're all entitled to have abundance in our life. You look at a tree, and it comes from a little seed that was planted, in a fruit, or just in a cone, or whatever, in a nut, or that, and then that tree produces thousands more over the course of its life of seeds and fruits, right? So
Seeds and fruit.
Everything starts from that seed. So you got to start somewhere, and but it takes obviously nature does it on its own, the planting of the seed, but I believe we're here for that purpose, for make it more abundant. That's because we have thought, we have vision. That's the beauty of being a human being, is about having the vision, having the future, like picturing heaven on earth, right? And be abundant and be happy and playing music and doing yoga and exploring and traveling and blah, blah, blah. Oh, I'm going off. Another particular part about the infinite banking system is that the loans, you don't have applications to do. You don't ask for those applications. There's no credit checks. You don't have to have your credit score at a certain level. And another beauty is there is no waiting. There's no waiting around. Oh my God, am I going to lose my house? Oh my God, if I don't finance the tractor and it's taken away, how am I going to afford it now? Right? Like those are particular things, little things, but yet when you compare them, we being so conditioned that, well, that's part of it. But no, there is other avenues. There is other possibilities, right? And then it's also an emergency thing too. Like especially for farmers, like if you have a bad year and you have, like you have a bad harvest or a bad year, and you have this system, it gives you security. And like we talked about it, how in India, there's quite a little bit of mental problems with farmers, and they take their own life because they lost a crop and now they can't help their family. But having a system like this would prevent such things, right?
Absolutely.
Right? Wouldn't it help? Like, so that is another piece of that freedom. It's not just financial, is peace of mind as well.
Peace of mind.
And having, and for what it takes, like, I don't think having a banking system, what would you think it would take a day that you would have to spend to keep your bank going? Like looking at the numbers and doing the budgeting and everything. What would you give on average?
Like one day, maybe. Initially you take a little bit of time to basically set up everything. You have to be very much practical around all of that stuff. But once you're disciplined and you plan well, like it doesn't take much to basically handle that bank, because it's the insurance policy which is taken care by the companies. All you have to take care is to plan ahead with your finances, like what, when you want to borrow, when you want to pay back, and what do you want to borrow for. Is it asset, is it a liability? Can you afford that liability, or can you generate some income of that asset? So like, it doesn't take much when it comes to action, but it needs a lot of planning. It has to be a proper
Right.
planning. Then actions are
Right.
not that great. Whatever you're doing with the bank, do it with yourself. Just like you mentioned, like you, bank is disciplined on his own action while giving loans or paying back, taking it back. Be disciplined, and follow the same steps. That's it. Not much. And if I say that, what are the practical takeaways basically to start your infinite banking, okay, which is our next segment, okay. uh, One is to start with disciplined budget. Basically, infinite banking is not for everyone. It's pretty much clear. It's like for people who can understand it and who can use it. Especially like if I say construction companies, realtors, big realtors, or like small businesses, entrepreneurs, they have more use cases. So first is like, start with disciplined budget, know your cost, know your surplus, both of the things. Second is build a consistent savings habit. Like they can be small, but there should be regular contributions over time. Third is learn the rules before jumping it. Is basically, I don't say anyone to start whole life policy just because you're excited about it. You'd
No.
study the details of
Definitely
the insurance, the compounding involved, and it is a product which you have to use after using certain, yeah, I'll say TFSA and certain accounts in India, Canada. For India, they're separate, but for Canada, it's basically you have to be very much understanding. Okay, what is you are getting from insurance? What are the tax you're saving? What is your compounding in insurance? And is it as it compared to TFSA or not? You have a TFSA. Even if you have a TFSA, how you can complement each other. Okay, and then at least commit for 10 years. It's not 10 days game. It's a marathon, not a sprint. If you're committed at least for 10 years, 10 years commitment is not like I'm saying don't take out the money. Take out the money, but at least be consistent on putting the money in your life insurance policy. Then only you can reap out the maximum benefit of your, basically your infinite. Then you build a solid infinite bank for yourself. You can withdraw money after 2 years. That's how you can design the whole life policy. But the real banking, the real reap of that fruit comes if you're consistent for putting money for 10 years in a row, and you will do it. Basically, it's like, uh, you should know like when to feast on your harvest and when to store it. If you compare to farmers, when to feast and when to harvest. That's it.
and that's what banks do. You know, it's
Yes,
once
that's
the
it.
cash flow happens, right? And I'm sure they have seasons, right? Like um, winter time probably for banks is not about savings because we're conditioned to go and spend money on Christmas presents and
Yes,
all that. Nobody thinks about
exactly.
savings. But guess what?
No.
In the spring, oof, everybody's like in. Oh, invest in your RSPs. That's your best way. You
Yeah.
know, February. That's your
Yeah.
cutoff date, right? And then, boom, there's this rush of coming in. And I was talking to a mortgage broker, and he's like, right after February, that's when they start to lend the money out because obviously a bank doesn't want deposits; they're a liability. So they want
Yeah.
assets. And what are those? Loans. So they
Loans.
advertise. They're like, get your mortgage with us, you know, or get your car, you know, buy your car. You need a new car. You know, you got to spend the money that
Or
you just
get a
saved up.
loan on, like, get a loan to get to Mexico. Even that's a
Yeah.
big asset for them. Any kind of loan is like they're making money out of it, and they push it hard, very hard.
Yes. Well,
For like, if you see, banking season
well,
is around the. There's no wet seasons, or there are no rainy days for them. Few days they are busy getting collecting the money, like collecting the raw material, which is very short duration and which is regular by us only. We are mad about saving money in our bank, and but there never stops. They have hard targets on branches, They pay a lot of commissions to mortgage brokers, and then they advertise and make the buying so easy through debt that every time you think about buy, you think like, oh, I don't have to pay the full amount. I just have to pay this much. That's it. And that's how they play with you.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I wanted to add that so you become your own bank, you recuperate that interest into your policy.
Yeah.
See, and that is why it's critical to be disciplined, because if you get a loan and you're going to pay 8 or 9% interest, it's like, well, I'm talking about a car loan would have that. Right now, we're seeing the mortgage rates dropping, obviously, because the banks are losing business. Their cash flow is limited. So now they want to increase it. And we have seen, a compression in the GDP. So that means that, okay, let's stimulate the economy, but we're not making houses more affordable, but still now they're losing business. So they can't lose business because people are not savings. We're all tied up with inflation and all that stuff. But what I'm saying is that the banking system, having your own banking system, you recuperate that interest. And also what Steve Nash says is, whenever you have an income, you take that money and you deposit it in your bank. So having your own bank, you have control of also what happens to that money. So why not start a banking system that every time you get an income, put it into your bank, which is your life policy, and then, like Gaurav said, loan out of it, right? Purchase for whatever you need. You will create a budget like for food spending, for your car payments and everything like that. And as that policy grows, then one day, hey, I guess I can pay for the car myself. Okay, thank you very much. Now I'm recuperating the interest on my car. Now I'm growing my policy. And then my policy grows even faster because we have designed it over a 10-year plan. And that's what's important is you need to have the 10, 20, 30 years. And then when you say goodbye. And then when you look at the numbers, which we're going to show next week, it gives you a little bit more clarity of what happens during the course of the funding process and building this cash value, which is leveraged, and it becomes the way that that your own banking system is going to work off of too. And guess what? Yeah, no, go ahead.
So, and the main thing is not about the cash value only. Okay, it is the way that you use the money which you have to transfer it to next generation. But let's compare it to like normal banking system. You put money in RRSP or savings. Okay, you use it while you're living, and whatever you left, when you transfer it to your next generation, you pay capital gain taxes on that.
Oh, good luck transferring to the next generation. Sorry, buddy, but
so
if you don't have a will in place,
that's one problem. And then other problem is like if you give them money which is taxable, you lose half the money. So with infinite banking, it's not infinite because you use money infinitely for yourself, but you can transfer the same money to your next generation tax free. Because insurance policy is one thing, like lottery and the TFSA, which can be transferred to the next generation without paying any taxes. And that's why they have a cap on TFSA. It's not unlimited. It's only $7,000 for an year. So even if you start saving, if you make another $7,000, you're keeping for the RRSP. It's like you save taxes today, but you pay tomorrow, and whatever
you're gonna pay tomorrow, you're gonna pay taxes anyways. It's not that
anyway.
Don't
but
pay
when you
taxes
put money in your whole life, you save interest, you become your own bank in your own terms, and you ditch CRA as well. And CRA knows about it, but again, why they don't do anything about it? Because not much people are doing it. It is only for the riches.
That's right.
They use it for
That's right.
themselves, and the rich people own the banks. So indirectly, directly, they don't transact with the bank, but they have their own banking systems to transact with it. So they
Yes.
make money by giving us that banking system, and they save money by using the whole life policy, which they have kept hidden for very long.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. And that's why we're here. Obviously, we like I started. I just want to bring in this story that I started it when I was a couple of years ago. I got into it, and obviously, I 100% recommend reading the book by Nelson Nash, like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, and it's also an audiobook. But on audiobook, you can't really see the numbers. So I do suggest to buy the book
Yep.
because it creates the foundation. It's a short read because the truth, I read it in a book, the truth is simple. You don't have to articulate it. You don't have to complicate it. It's a few lines, right? And that's why I started the show by saying that it's you're building a asset, and that's your whole life policy, permanent, participating because it has to pay dividends, and you borrow against it. Simple. That's the simplicity of it. Obviously, it has components to it, like what we talked about in the show. But when something is simple, it's easy to understand. It's just the next step is to apply it, is to take action, right? And that's what I did. I read the book, and then all of a sudden I started manifesting all these people in my life. And when I started researching at the time, there was only one or two companies that were offering these all life participating policies. And to contract with them, you had to go through a broker. So then I'm like, okay, well, how do I find a broker? And then I researched it more. And I mean, Google search, I put in becoming your own banker, and boom, I found my advisor. And then I invested into it. And let me tell you, after 2 years of building my cash value, I was able to take a loan out of surprise. Obviously, I was skeptical. When you hear it, it's like, no way, it's not possible.
Nobody believes.
Nobody believes it,
believes it.
right? Like, it's like,
Not possible.
how is this possible? How do we not know about it? How do I don't know about it? I was the same way, and then I did. I because I wanted to test it, right? It was my first loan was just a test. The cash value reached $500, and I was like, I'm taking a loan out. And in 2 days, I got the $500 deposited in my bank, and I was like, I ran to my wife. It's real. It's working. and then I was like, oh my God, this is like a great invention. Why didn't I know it before, right? And then that's why I became passionate. I became like, I went hard into it. I was like, how do I use it for farming? How do I teach it to people? Why nobody's talking about this? Why we're having conversation about the freaking hockey game? Like, we should have conversations about this system. Like, this is so important. And then, well, obviously, it didn't.
That's why they don't want to discuss it. That's it.
Yeah. And that brings us to this session here. Yeah. Anyways, what was your story? Like, do you have a story about?
So when then I went through the concept myself, and then when I saw like how you can use it as a business owner, I wished like, oh my God, what
Oh, your audio cut out. Can you hear us?
Yes. Sorry, I think I don't know. My net just fluctuated. So when I heard about it, I was like, why it's not? Why it's not in India? And like, oh my God, I'm missing it. When I applied for it, I got denied. because I had a work permit, so he said that you need to have at least
Residence.
a citizenship applied to get a whole life
Yeah.
policy. Like, oh my god, like it's too secretive. I can open a bank account, but I can't have my own whole life policy because I'm just like, because I'm work permit. Then why I'm paying you the money? Why you're denying it? So I got more curious. Then I read everything about it, and I saw that it's so powerful, and that's why it's so limited, because they don't want the power to be distributed. If power got distributed, they don't have a control on us, and when they don't have a control on us, they will not make more money from the other things they control through. Bank is not one way, there are other ways also. Education is the other way they do. If you see this power, what we are doing here is basically we're giving out the knowledge, and knowledge is the real power to get control on your life, and they don't want that. So that brings
Mhm.
us to our Q&A. If anyone has some questions, please go ahead.
I
If
just,
you ask,
I know I spill over too much, but I just want to add one thing too. Life insurance companies, they work off of a pool of money from the
yeah,
policy holders. And like what
yeah,
we said before, the banks, they work off of another pool of money on deposits, but they can lend out at 9 times. Okay, let's be fair, 7 to 9 times the,
yeah.
their deposits, right? And what do you think creates inflation, right? It's the lending of the
Yeah.
money and creating
Yep.
more debt. And that inflates because you put more money into circulation. I just want to leave you with that too. If everybody had their own banking system, then it would be more regulated, kind of like a gold standard. And 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 if everybody does something, then the system
Yeah.
will change its problems, right? Because we can't find the solution to a system. That was Albert Einstein. He says you can't find the solution to a problem with the mindset that you start with the problem itself. Anyways,
Mhm.
okay, let's take it to question and answers. Is there a
Yeah.
limit to how much can be deposited into the policy account? Is it a tax shelter account? Okay. Do you want to answer this one, or you want me to, or we both do?
Let's both do in our
Okay.
best of the knowledge. So if I say technically, uh, there is a limit, but it is tied up to a formula, and the formula is basically the amount of life insurance you are taking. Let's say you have a whole life insurance of 100,000, and then you add a term rider to it, which is for like more amount. The bigger is your insurance policy, the more amount you can deposit as cash value. So there's two components to it. One is your insurance premium to it, which decides how much deposit option you will have. So again, yes, there is a limit, but it depends on how big policy you're getting. So deposit will be done accordingly. Secondly, is it a tax shelter account? So technically, yes and no both. Tax sheltered means that the money grows is tax free. Yes, it is tax free when you transfer it. It also tax free. But if you take out that cash, and when I say cash, you're not taking a loan against it. You take out cash from that, then you will be taxed as your income. But if you take
Uh,
out a loan for yourself, it is non-taxable. Okay, borrow instead of taking out the money. Second part, when you transfer it to the next generation, then it is a tax sheltered account, which is the insurance part. There are only three accounts in Canada. Three kind of money which someone inheritance is tax free. One is your insurance amount. Second is your lottery amount.
sorry.
Third is your TFSA. That's it. Other than that, whatever you transfer to your next generation, you pay taxes on it.
Okay.
I hope this answers
Yes.
this. You have to add
Yeah.
anything, Ricardo? Yes, you can.
I think that was pretty clear, and obviously, it's how you design. I just wanted to add that the limit. Yeah, it's how. Obviously, it's get together with a financial advisor, me and Gaurav,
Yeah.
right? and then you design it to what you can budget. And obviously that's what we talked about. It's about creating the plan and creating the budget for and having this 10, 20-year vision. Obviously it depends on how old you are and all the variables. We will put them into a policy illustration, and then we can show you how the cash value grows over time, and then we're going to go over it next week, and that will give you how much you can put into the policy, you know,
Exactly.
and how it starts and how it helps you grow. And then it's like he said, you know, like you have a paid up portion, and then you have your premium. The premium is the seed, paid up portion will be your contributions to your investment side of the policy. Okay.
Exactly.
And then, like he said, it's a tax shelter, yes and no. But I would say you at retirement, also, there's a technique that you can see in the book. At retirement, if you want to take out money out of your policy, you can take whatever you deposited into it tax-free. And then once you reach that tax limit, then you can either take policy loans, or you can take more out, and you're going to start paying taxes. But by that time, depending on the design of the policy, you should be you should be tax-free, I would say. I've seen a lot of illustrations, and that's how it works. Did that explain the question? Hope so.
If no, then
any more questions?
Feel free to reach out.
Sorry.
I'm saying because it's not that easy concept, you know, we took some time. If someone has to basically just learn about it, you're most welcome. You can reach out to Riccardo or me on LinkedIn, drop us a message, and we will help you to set it up for you.
Yes. Yeah, we are out of time. Thank you for the question, though. That was a great question, and one to be discussed in the future as well. As we come to our closing remarks, I hope this was useful, and we didn't rant on too much. But I mean, obviously, this is a topic. Maybe we'll do another one. We don't know, but obviously, next episode we're going to expand into it more. But we just want to I want to emphasize a few things. Becoming your own banker is not a quick fix. If you have financial problems, talk to us first, and let's get over those problems, and then get into it and understanding, because it's about mindset, and it's gonna be a life-changing moment. So you have to understand that it's a way of living as well, you know, and it's revolutionary. So with every revolution, there is an adjustment phase, right? And it's also it's also a personal journey where you will have to learn, and with anything, you know, any business, you have to learn. There's a learning process, and whatever it takes, it might take 1 year, 2 years, depending on how fast you learn, or what you retain, or how passionate you are, right? And like the two of us, as we said, you know, briefly, we didn't even know that this was possible, but now you know. So now it's up to you. You either take action, or you just let it go, or being like, oh, those two guys don't even know what they're talking about because they're farmers, and what do they know, right? And then and another thing for me was providing that protection for the family, knowing that if something was to happen to me, I know my family will be fine. And also, because I'm teaching this concept to my wife and my kids, I know that they're going to continue it on, and it's going to be generational. Like Rockefeller says, do you remember your great-great-grandfather's name? No, but they do.
No.
Why? Because they created a legacy. They have it right there.
Exactly.
They have, this is John C. the Third, right? That created this solution, right? And then they're
Yeah.
remembered because that's
They
what
remember.
legacy are. Yeah, and
Yes.
and I like what we said before. It's for some people. Some people don't want to do that. Some people will want to do it. So, any other closing remarks for you? We're over time, but
I'll say it's no worries. I'll just close in a minute. So I'll say it is a great concept, but it has to be understood very well. It is a kind of a beautiful thing which you can use it for your growth, or you can use it against you also. And it totally depends on your advisor. Even if you have your whole life policies in place, but you don't know if they're working as per your plan or not, feel free to reach out. We'll do a free review. You guys, if you want to learn about whole life policy, we'll learn it, teach it for free of cost. Product is not involved in the education. The whole point of me and Ricardo coming and doing these podcast is to educate you guys, and that's the whole point. Education is the key for freedom, and for us, that freedom should be accessible to everyone, especially to people who are listening to this podcast. So with that, I'll say, okay, we meet next week. Hope everyone enjoyed this podcast, and thank
Yeah.
you, Ricardo, for keep going
Yeah.
on this one. Okay,
Yeah.
and I think we should divide this in three parts, like the practical part, and the third one is like how it can be used for different businesses, not only for farming. So we'll make case studies for that,
Love
those
it.
things in
Love
our next to next, like realtors and all those trends. Okay, then take care.
Okay.
See you, Ricardo. See you, my friends.
Take care.
Namaste again.
Take care.
Bye.
Namaste.
Yeah.
Namaste.
Yeah.
Okay, well, if this episode sparked something into you, and if you want to learn to take control of your finances, like Gaurav said,
Yeah.
reach out to us. We have tools to help you set up budgets, financial blueprints, preparation kits, and more, because we can give you a little bit more insight. You can reach me at rico@farmersinfinance.com. And if you have any more questions, feel free to reach out either by LinkedIn or same message. So we'll see you next week. Same time, same mission, helping farmers grow not just food, but freedom. Okay, thank you so much,
Bye.
everyone. Have a good
Thank
day.
you.
Bye.
Good day. Bye.